I quit my job. I quit my job at the hospital quite a bit ago. It feels like forever ago now. It is September 30th. So I think I quit at the end of April, right? I think. Yeah, it's all a blur now. But I have a new job now. I started June 1st. I started looking for a new job towards the end of March, early April, and then I started actively looking, like answering people back, sending out my resume everywhere, and exploring different options within the nursing realm about mid-April, beginning to mid-April. And I kept second guessing myself, like, should I leave? Should I not leave? Should I hold off? I wasn't feeling entirely comfortable as a floor nurse, and I know everybody kept saying, you know, it takes a while. It takes 6 months to a year before a new grad feels comfortable in their role. Just give it time, just wait it out. I could not do that. I felt way too anxious and restless all the time. I found myself almost crying before going to work every shift, and the night shift life was not my cup of tea. Like, the actual night shift was fine, but the fact that I had to switch my sleep around when I'm a morning person, I did not like that part. So there's just a lot that I was not comfortable with, and the place that I was working at, I was not comfortable with, and I was float pool, so I didn't even have like a space to really ground myself, or like a mentor I could always count on. I had great preceptors, but there was just too much, and I thought, you know, I don't have to stay. So I talked to a few people. I talked to my siblings. I talked to some of the people that were in my cohort in the new grad residency program, and I decided to leave shortly after I got sick. When I got sick, I realized just how unhappy I was there, and how miserable I felt every day, and how I truly counted down the days, like, oh, please, like, don't make me have to go back to work. Please, like, call me off. Let it be low census. I was looking into different fields. I was looking into wound care nursing, aesthetic nursing, case management nursing, etc. And ultimately, I landed a job as a registered nurse case manager for hospice. So I am a hospice nurse at the moment, and so far, it's going well. I've been with the company a full 4 months now, and I already feel so much better and more comfortable and more at ease and more like, yes, let's do this, than I did longer than that at the hospital. I can tell you that. But I started feeling comfortable in my role at like the 2-month period. Like, I am definitely still learning a lot. There's still a lot of things that I definitely am calling my supervisor, I'm calling the patient care coordinator, I'm calling my coworkers, seeking advice, like asking, okay, how do you handle this situation, etc. And I'm doing that every day almost. But at the 2-month mark, I already felt much more comfortable in my new role than I did when I was at the hospital. So I kind of want to talk about a bit about what is hospice nursing. So a website I like to look at is registerednursing.org, and for any like nursing role, and this is a website I was looking a lot into when I was looking for jobs. I like this website. Definitely there's some things that I may be missing, some things that like it says here but you don't necessarily do in your role, but I think it's a pretty good go-to to find out what each position does and kind of get an idea of what to expect. Hospice nurses are healthcare professionals that care for patients at the end of their lives, but basically it's comfort care. And so you're not trying to treat anything, you're not trying to fix anything like you do in the hospital, like you do in the ER. Here, we're trying to keep them comfortable, trying to keep their dignity and comfort in the end of life. And so a lot of it is education to the patients, education to the families regarding medications. They don't need their diabetes medication anymore if they're on hospice. They don't need their hypertension medication. They don't need their cholesterol medication. They don't need all of those routine medications. Our main medication regimen for our patients, or what we would like for them to really just have to focus on is like pain medication, anything for nausea, vomiting, anything for any agitation or anxiety or restlessness that they may be feeling, especially towards end of life. Things to help them breathe easier, like the nebulizer treatments, oxygen. Do they need anything for constipation? Do they have too many loose bowel movements? Do they need anything for that? And are they retaining any urine? Do they need help getting fluid out, etc.? So it's really just comfort focused care. Our biggest concern for wounds is making sure it doesn't get infected, because that can be uncomfortable for the patients. So we don't necessarily want to treat it, but we just want to keep it clean, maybe help dry it out so that it doesn't get infected or make the patient uncomfortable. It says here that to become a hospice nurse, you need to have your nursing license, and then preferably certified in hospice and palliative care, like a certification. So for me, they required that I had my registered nursing license, has some kind of background experience, which for me was the hospital, and then did I have experience with death and dying? I did, because I had patients in the hospital who passed away, so they asked me about how that went and what was my experience with that. So that's really what hospice is for those patients who are towards the end of life, either because of age or because of a terminal illness that's really making them decline quickly. If the patient chooses to stop treatment, to stop aggressive treatment, or if the hospitalists recommend that the patient go on hospice because the treatment is not going to do much for them anymore, and to just enjoy the life that they have right now with the people they love from the comfort of their home, without having to worry about doctor's visits and getting all this medication in their system, etc. Then that's really what hospice is good for. I am working on my bachelor's degree, and so the beauty of this job is that it's very community health based, because I am going out in the community. I'm going into skilled nursing facilities, I'm going into assisted livings, I'm going into boarding cares, I'm going into patients' homes, and I'm caring for these patients. I'm doing a lot of education to the caregivers, to the facility staff, to the families, to the patients, in all kinds of backgrounds, similar to the hospital, but in the hospital everybody's in one setting, but here you're encountering people in their natural habitats and in various different settings. So I am able to get my clinical hours for community health through my job. As of December 14th, I'm going to need one class left to graduate, and then I finally have my bachelor's. So this job could not have come at a better time. So the beauty of this job is that it is a Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 job. And I usually start my day at my home, and then I end my day at home, which is very, very nice and one of my favorite parts. I like that it's during the day. I like that it's during the week. I like that I can make my own schedule. I have my designated patients, and then I have my schedule online, and I write in what days I'm going to see which patients, so I coordinate based off location. So I get to choose my schedule. Most of my visits are done in the mornings, especially if they're in the facilities. They allow me to come in early, and so I'll go there right away so that I can be done earlier and I don't have to be out in the heat later in the day. And that also makes me available for any PRN visits that may be needed. For example, if patients were not seen that day and they have symptoms or a change in condition, then I can do a PRN visit and go help them manage those symptoms, or educate family over the phone. Okay, this is what you have in your emergency kit. You can do X, Y, and Z. If that doesn't work, give me a call and I can head on over. So there's a lot of options for that. So that's where I've been for the last 4 months. Literally tomorrow is my 4-month anniversary. And so far so great. I definitely think I'll be staying here for a while. Maybe not forever, because I do want to explore different options, but a good while. And what my goal is that after the semester, once I'm done with most of my classes and I only have one class left, is that maybe January I'll start looking for a per diem or a part-time job that I could do on the weekends or nighttime. And that would be something more on the fun side of it. So if I wanted to explore wound care nursing, which is one of my interests, or aesthetics nursing, then hopefully I can find something that's like a weekend per diem thing that I can do, and that way I can start dipping my toes into different fields. But yes, that's the goal for in the future. I am much happier now in my role as a RN case manager. I think it took a lot of brain power to come to terms to the fact that I was leaving floor nursing, because I feel like when you go to nursing school, that's all that's really thrown at you is hospital, and I understand that you definitely get to practice the most, if not all, of your skills in the hospital setting. But for me, I did it, I tried it, I tried to try it for longer, but I think this was the best decision, and it's ridiculous how many options there are outside of the hospital setting. I will say that a lot of places outside of the hospital setting require hospital experience for you to even enter those fields. That was what I was encountering. That was one of the problems I was encountering heavily when I was applying to places, but you will find something. There's always something out there. So that was just my experience. Everybody's experience is always different. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask away, and I'll see you guys in the next video.